Hi guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel, Home Cooking with Peter Serpico. My name is Peter Serpico, and this is my daughter,
Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie. She's always helping me out. Today she's got some special guests. Do you want to introduce your guests?
Yeah, this is Mia.
We got Mia.
Sometimes she gets so crazy.
She gets a little crazy.
Yep. And also, Sammy, come here.
Sammy.
This is Sammy.
Okay.
She loves Season to chase around. And this is Season.
And Season.
My dog.
Yeah. Okay, so Charlie, be careful. I'm coming over with hot liquid. Oh, wash your vessel over here. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so today we are gonna make risotto. The reason, well, there's a lot of reasons we're making risotto. Number one, it's like a pretty, it's pretty labor intensive, but once you make it, you can actually make it for a lot of people, which is really nice. Also, we have a lot of vegetables that we've basically been trying to run through that we have for the videos. So this is a perfect way to utilize a lot of them. Today we're gonna use, so we have the leftover zucchini and squash ends that we've been using. We have some asparagus, some of the flat leaf parsley, some onion and garlic, and these are a special gift. Who are these from, Charlie? How many and Hadabaji. So these are from Charlie's grandparents. Every year they pick ramps and they deliver ramps, and they make ramp kimchi and soy pickled ramps. Our fridge is packed with them. So this kind of, these kind of like signify spring on the East Coast. So we try to keep the channel not too chefy, but ramps I feel like are widely available now. Also, if you want to they grow by water. If you want to forage ramps yourself, you should do it like this. You should just cut the leaf off and leave the bulb, because once you pull the bulb, the ramps won't come back. If you just cut the leaves, they'll come back every year. Okay, so let's get started. So we have a pan. We have our trusty spatula. This is a wooden spatula. I think it's made out of bamboo. Okay, so this is arborio rice here. I don't know if you guys can see that. This is like your pretty quintessential risotto rice. It's got a lot of starch in it. I know, and it usually comes like in a cryovac bag. So we'll start with a little bit of olive oil. Okay, it's like a pretty long process. It's a lot of stirring, but I'll show you how you can kind of avoid this, a lot of the stirring. So in this pot we have chicken stock that we brought to a boil. Your stock should be hot. If you start with a hot stock and your vegetables and things like that are hot, when you mix them together, it won't lower the temperature. So you'll just constantly be cooking everything. So that'll speed up the process as well. I don't know if you guys can see my setup, but this is the way that I like to set it up personally. I have a large cutting board that I always have here, and then I always have a smaller cutting board for things like onions and garlic or fish or chicken. And I have another cutting board too that's small. So I kind of just rotate them. Anything that's like really strong in flavor, I use a smaller cutting board for, and then I just kind of put it in the sink and wash it afterwards.
You mean small, like smaller than big?
Yeah. Okay, so we'll cut the onion. We want to sweat our onion first. Okay. And like I said in all the other videos, you don't have to have the best knife skills. You just want to make sure that everything's cut pretty evenly, okay? Alright, so we'll add our onion and garlic. Okay.
You dropped them on the stove.
Yep. Okay, and this is a little hot, so we'll turn this down to 2, okay? Okay, garlic. And don't worry about cutting your garlic too small, just because it's gonna cook forever. Okay? Okay, and if you feel like your pan's getting a little too hot, you can add a little bit of salt, so that'll pull out a lot of the water. Okay, and this is not smoke right here. This is just steam. all the water is cooking out of your vegetables right now. Okay.
Yeah, we still in the way.
And we turned it down, so now you can even hear it. You can hear it how the heat dropped. Okay. So now we're just at a sweating temperature. Okay. Because we don't have to put any color on the vegetables. That's not what we're looking to do. We're just looking to soften them, kind of release their flavor, so they can release their flavor to the rice and the risotto. Okay. So see what I'm saying? You rinse off your knife. This way you only have to use one knife. Cutting board goes in the sink, and then you can kind of just keep going with all the other vegetables and not worry about everything that you cut tasting like garlic or onions.
Papa, look, Sammy's in the way.
Hey, Sammy, no eating the wraps.
What? I'm a vegan.
Sammy's a vegan, apparently. Okay, so sweating your onions, garlic down. I don't know if you can see it, right here. So you don't have to put any color on it. Okay, we just want to soften the vegetables. Now is when we add our rice. We want to toast our rice a little bit in the oil. Okay. You can add a little more salt at this point as well. You want to add a pinch of salt, Charlie? Okay. All right. Well, you just put it right on the induction burner. That's okay. I know your arms aren't long enough.
Yeah, I can't even reach over the pot.
Yeah. Okay. So we're toasting our rice now. Let's see. We turn that up to 4. Okay. And then, like all the vegetables, same thing. Like we talked about before. We can start cutting the vegetables, but we don't have to add them. Depending on how large we want to cut them, we don't have to add them until kind of towards the end. Because number one, I don't want them to break up too much, and number two, I still want them to have a little bit of bite. You know? And let's kind of commit to using the rest of the squash and the zucchini today. Okay? So it's going to be a lot of vegetable risotto, which is great, right? See? Really great. Okay.
Hi guys, I'm on the snack pad today. I'll just get the whole thing. Oh. What? Blueberries? Okay, Sammy, blueberries are coming. Yeah, because I'm not always stuck over here.
Okay, and you see how I'm cutting the vegetables. It's not, shape doesn't matter as much as size, okay? So everything cooks evenly. That's what we're looking for. That's like our main goal when we're cutting these, okay? Beautiful. All right, so it looks like we're gonna have a lot of squash and zucchini in this, which is great. And then, so you saw the amount of rice we used. That was an 8-ounce container. So it's probably going to, I'd say, triple in size. Okay, so our rice is toasting. Let's add, this isn't a real wine. This is like apple wine. Okay. We just want to, okay, we just want to add a little bit of that. It's too sweet. Normally you would just use like a nice dry white wine, but that's all we got. But it is a little bit dry, so that'll help. So now we're looking good. Okay, so now we can start adding our stock. Okay, so now we add our stock a little bit at a time. Okay, we don't want to. We just want to kind of release all the starch in the rice. Okay, so we're just going to add it a little bit at a time. And then the other thing too is you don't want to add too much stock at once, because you don't want to have to, your rice is going to have to absorb all the stock, and then it's going to, if you add too much stock, obviously it's going to be overcooked. Okay, and if we don't have enough stock, this was the rest of the stock that we used for one of our other recipes. Like I said, we don't buy chicken stock. I feel like it's a huge waste. So we usually make our own. And we have some, I think we have some in the freezer. But for now, I just wanted to use this up, number one. But number two, like if I was gonna make a risotto at home for a meal, I would just use one of our stocks that we have in the freezer. You can even use like a dashi, like a fish stock, if you wanted to do that. I bet my wife would really love anchovy stock risotto, because we always have those those anchovy tea bags from the Korean market sitting around. They have mu radish in them and kombu, so you just kind of steep them in water. Beautiful. So you see how creamy this is already? Okay, but you see how it's like separate, like the rice and the liquid are separate. So you're gonna see the process, how you just want it like to be like almost like a one product. You'll see. That's what we're looking for, and that's when the rice is almost done. And also, if you run out of stock, it's no big deal. Just fill it up with water.
That kind of water.
Yeah, that's just cooking, you know. Because we're trying to use the rest of this chicken stock. I'm not going to go out and buy another one just so we can make risotto. We're going to make this delicious, right?
Mm-hmm.
Charlie's eating her snack pack
Yeah.
that she made.
Cheese.
You want to show them?
Some cheese.
Yeah. So she cut up some string cheese herself. She's got some blueberries and some kind of cereal. I didn't even know we had cereal. Kashi cereal. Okay.
Yep, it's like these O shapes, like a donut shape and a heart shape.
Donut shaped heart, yeah. Looks good.
Mm-hmm. I went to the one bite of my cheese off.
Okay, so that's what we're doing. We're just kind of mixing it up, cooking out a lot of the liquid. Right? It's at this is at 3 right now. 3 out of 10. My induction burner. Okay, and now how you see it now, how it's becoming a little bit more creamy, right? Like the liquid is cloudy. That's what we're looking for. Okay. And you don't want to beat it up too much to where you're breaking up the kernels. Okay? Okay, beautiful. And this is the beginning stages. So the beginning stages, you don't have to be too crazy about stirring it. That's kind of more important towards the end, okay? So right now, we'll kind of cheat it a little bit. We'll add maybe a little bit more liquid than we should. Don't tell anyone though. Okay? And then we'll kind of simmer it. And that simmering effect kind of also, the simmering kind of, it kind of mimics a stirring. So we'll cheat that a little bit. So we'll cut up our asparagus.
I found to tell you something. I think everyone's gonna know that you had too much liquid. You know why? Because you just said it in the YouTube video.
They're gonna know I added too much liquid? Alright, well it'll be our secret, okay? Okay, so. And same thing, we'll just cut the asparagus pretty small because we want the asparagus to cook in the risotto, but we also want it to like have a little bit of bite. So this is where the cooking part comes in, and this is exactly why you wouldn't add your asparagus in the beginning, because you'd be cooking it for like 15 minutes, and that's especially asparagus this size is that's way too long to be cooking it. Okay, so this is going to be a really vegetable-y risotto, which is great, right, Charlie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Charlie loves her vegetables.
Wait, Mia, what was this? I don't know. She was right here 2 seconds ago.
Okay, and we'll. Okay, so let's go. Let's keep stirring.
Alpha.
Yeah.
Sammy, be careful. Sammy. Yeah. Hey, squash.
Okay, and that was about a cup. That was about a cup of arborio rice. So that's gonna feed, this is probably gonna feed, I'd say 2-3 people. It's definitely gonna be enough for me and Charlie. It's probably gonna be enough for me, my wife, and Charlie. Dinner portions, I would say, are usually a little bit larger. So this one might be enough for 2 large dinner portions, if you're an adult, 2 adult dinner portions. I also tend to overproduce. It's kind of just what happens. I have trouble portioning. Yeah. Okay. All right. So you see here. See how it's like water starchy. This has This has way too much water in it. So now we're just gonna focus on cooking this out. Okay. And then it looks like we're definitely gonna need a little bit more stock. So I will just heat up a little bit more. I'll put a little bit of water in here. Okay. Yeah, no big deal, right?
NBG.
Mm-hmm.
No, but A.
No big deal. Yeah, we're not gonna let that ruin our lunch. The fact that we didn't have enough chicken stock, right?
Yeah.
Right, Charlie?
That's a silly way to ruin your lunch too.
Yeah, that's silly, right?
Stop, come here.
Okay, and you see how I'm stirring too? So I'm moving the pot, and I'm also moving my utensil. And this is why, like, for a smaller portion, I don't want to do like the huge cast iron pot, because you don't really want to be like swishing that around. But this technique here actually makes your stirring a little bit easier, because you're essentially using both arms to stir. Okay, you're moving the pot and you're kind of moving the spoon.
Yeah, and I'm using
Okay.
apple to eat.
Beautiful.
And I'm using apple to eat. That's a silly way how to cook.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually not cooking. That is eating.
Okay, so now, so this is the point you see here? Okay, we're starting to run out of liquid a little bit. So now is when we can add a little bit more stock, okay?
My teeth can't even handle this apple. Can't even take one bite of it. What's wrong with apples and things? I can't take just one teeny bite of it.
Okay, and also, so at this point, we know it's not cooked yet, but we kind of want to see which stage it's at, all right?
Yeah, is it first point, second point, or third?
Oh, we're close though. Here, Charlie. Taste it.
Hot.
Here.
No, what about last week? Remember, metal was really hot.
This is that. Okay.
Mmm.
So the rice, see how it gets stuck in your teeth?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it just needs to cook a little bit more. Okay. So I'd say probably like 5 more minutes, and I think this is the perfect amount of stock that we have. And then we add more fat at the end, a lot of butter. Risotto is infamous for having a lot of butter in it, but if you use olive oil in the beginning and you kind of make sure that you get a lot of the starch out of the rice, you don't actually have to use a crazy amount of butter. I like to use a decent amount of butter and a decent amount of cheese, which I know is not also the best thing, but it's delicious. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now is when we can add, I would add like the ramp bottoms now, okay? Because these can kind of overcook and it's no big deal. All right. And then we'll wait for the ramp tops towards the end with everything else, okay? Beautiful. Keep it stirring. Okay. Watch yourself, Charlie. Hop coming through. Okay. Beautiful. Thank you. We're good. All right, now we'll add a little bit more liquid. And this is why I know this is like it just seems very monotonous to watch me stir a pot of risotto. But like, this is why I wanted to start the channel, because honestly, if you look at the video from start to finish, we're actually making risotto from start to finish. It's not, hey, here's how you start it, and then all of a sudden you have an end result on a plate. I feel like once our subscribers actually watch us do it, they will kind of say, oh, like we can do that, you know, or I actually have enough time for that. And like I said, this is a great recipe for like a clean out your fridge if you have a lot of vegetables. If you have a little farmer, if you have a little garden, like a spring garden that you guys like to plant, and you have like a lot of zucchini or squash or green beans or whatever you guys like to grow, this is a great way to utilize all those products. Because I know like during the season, we're the same way, you know. I mean, that's why I like the East Coast personally, is because asparagus season is asparagus season. We don't buy asparagus out of season. Corn season's corn season. We don't eat corn in the winter, unless it's like frozen. We buy like the frozen vegetable mix, but that's just because that's just kind of to add to stuff, soups and stews and things when we're really busy. But what's up?
Where did all the lambs go?
Sammy's got them.
Sammy.
Okay, and now also, so same thing, parsley. I like to we can keep the stems on them if we cut them small enough. Okay.
It looks like season has.
This is going to be a really green risotto. It's going to be delicious. Okay. Beautiful. And then all these things I feel like we can kind of add at the same time. A lot of vegetables. Okay, and now you see how we're looking now? Okay. See how the rice is kind of, it's probably doubled or tripled in size, and the liquid is very, very creamy, okay? And also you see the amount. The rice isn't swimming in liquid right now. It's kind of, the liquid is just glazing. It's just glazed the rice. And that's what we're looking for. A little more salt. Okay. Maybe a little crack of black pepper. I won't put too much, Charlie, okay? I promise.
If I like it, I'm not eating it. I know I'm going to.
Okay, now we can add, let's see, we have one. Maybe we'll wait to add the last round of stock. Okay. And you got to remember too, depending on what you add to, this is the cooking part, is when the cooking part comes in. Depending on what you add to your risotto, it depends on how much water it's going to release. So asparagus, squash has a decent amount of water. Asparagus doesn't have a ton of water, but you want to remember that. If you add things that are really watery, things like radishes, I wouldn't recommend radishes just because they're bitter. If you're gonna add something like, if you really want to add radishes, like you grew them in your garden, I would just sprinkle them on top, kind of finish them with it. Okay. So now let's take one more taste. We'll kind of see how far we're out.
I don't know, but I think you're going to take the lambs from the
Okay.
It's a lamp time.
Ramp time, almost.
Yeah, remember when you take a lamp? Yeah. Come on, sofa time. Yeah. And buy a lamp.
Okay, so let's add the last of the stock. Okay, beautiful. And the seasoning seems like it's pretty good. We'll check it one last time before. Also, just be careful. Like I use the Himalayan sea salt.
Not
But
too much.
yeah, not too much. But you have to. When we were doing the cookbook recipe testing, we started to realize that like if you buy kosher salt, there are some kosher salts out there that are actually double as salty. So if you look at the sodium content, it'll say for like 1/8 of a teaspoon or 1/4 of a teaspoon, whatever their portion size is. You look at the sodium level, and it's twice the amount of sodium. So a lot of the recipes we did for the cookbook that's coming out next year, next summer, I believe, have a lot of.
Sodium?
No, they're very. A lot of them are very fickle with the amount of salt. So you have to make sure that you're using the right salt. And there is no right salt. I just want you guys to understand that the salt that you use, you should just kind of stick to. Okay.
But the sodium.
Yeah, because I don't know. The other thing too is the seasoning. Seasoning is the most subjective part, I feel like. And we.
Blueberry seasonings. Make sure you pack a snack if you're doing
And we
a
don't-
video, guys.
We don't like a lot of salt in our food. Okay. Okay, so you see how. So you're looking at it now. You see how creamy it is. So now we're basically just feeling the rice and seeing when we want to stop the cooking process. The cooking process we're going to stop by adding fat to it. Okay, the seasoning is pretty good. It's still under seasoned, but remember we're going to add fat, which is going to make it feel less seasoned. But we're also going to add cheese, which is cheese that got a lot of salt in it. Okay, and I'm just going to heat up a little bit more water just in case. But I feel like we're almost there. It's just I haven't cooked risotto in a long time, so.
How long? 50 years?
No, not 50 years. Probably, yeah, it's been a while.
50?
I mean, like me cooking it myself from start to finish.
40 years?
No. Okay, so look how creamy that is. Okay. And then when you see it simmering, it almost looks like grits. Grits or polenta, where the bubbles are super slow because it's got so much starch in it. Looks great. Okay.
How does it look like if it doesn't smell great?
You don't think it smells great? Okay. Now let's one we'll add our squash and zucchini.
Yeah, I remember when you take my lamps away.
Right. Maybe we'll cut a little bit too much. Okay, beautiful. And remember, like I said, this is going to, the squash and zucchini are gonna release a little bit of water, okay? So we'll add our squash zucchini. Let's add our ramps. Charlie, you got a hair in there.
That's because me and Sammy pulled my hair.
Me and Sammy were pulling your hair, okay.
I mean, Sammy was seasoning. I need to season more. He don't like to cook stuff, anything. He likes to cook things. The weeks I just planted, so I have to plant again. He even pulls my hair. He even pulls out carrots for me when I don't need them, of course.
Okay, we can add the ramps. And remember, with things like ramps, they kind of they cook down a lot. So if you think that you have a lot of product, once you put it in the pan and you kind of mix it in, you see it's not a ton of
Oh, you
product.
forgot one.
Okay, toss it in there.
Ah,
Okay. So now we're at a point where we're looking a little dry. See how it's like dry and pasty, and that's why we heated up the water. Watch yourself, baby. Watch your head. Okay. So same thing. Let a little bit more water. Okay. But we're like the consistency. We're looking really good. The seasoning, I think, we're looking really good. Okay. Taste it one more time. Okay. Beautiful. I think the rice is almost there. We'll add a little bit of our asparagus. Okay. A little bit of our parsley. So we can cook both of those. I'm gonna cook both of those for a little bit. Okay. Add a touch more water. Okay, now see it's starting to get a little pasty, and we're looking for it to be like creamy. The one thing I will say though with risotto, you want it to sit up on a plate a little bit. Okay, you don't want it to be like a sauce. You want it to sit up. You want to be able to eat it with a fork, if that makes sense.
Oh, look, here's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, I don't want to show my
Mm-hmm. Okay.
dolls.
So now we're looking really good. Okay. So you see the asparagus change color. The asparagus has changed color. The squash has changed color, and the ramps have changed color. The parsley as well. They kind of popped. That just means that that they've been affected by heat. Okay. Okay. I think we're looking really. Okay, beautiful. So the rice is still al dente, but it doesn't get stuck in your teeth. Beautiful. All right, taste this. Okay.
It's still a little bit gets stuck in your teeth at the end. Not done
All right.
yet, Papa.
All right, so we'll cook it a little bit more. See? That's it.
We'll cook it a little bit more.
Okay. All right, so.
It's all the movement, see?
Mhm.
Okay.
All right, so maybe I misspoke. This could probably feed 3. It depends. It depends on how you like to eat. If you ate with like a salad and things like that, or had like multiple other dishes, this is definitely enough risotto for 4 people. It all depends on how you eat.
Papa, can you
Okay. All right, beautiful. So I think we're looking really good right now. So we're almost to the point where we want to add the fat. So I will do, Charlie, what do you want to do? We'll do some pecorino and Parmesan. We'll do a little bit of both. I like the flavor of both. The pecorino adds salt, more salt. So if you feel like your risotto is a little salty right now, I wouldn't add pecorino. Use Parmesan. Parmesan does have a lot of salt in it, but it's more. It adds more like aged flavor, more umami to it. Okay, so now we're looking good. I would take our butter. Finish with the butter. I know it seems like a lot. It's about a tablespoon. Honestly, if this were a restaurant, I would probably add 4 tablespoons of butter to this. Okay, but this is for me and my daughter and my wife, so I don't think we need to be eating that much butter. Okay, and if you want to, you can also finish it with some olive oil too. If you like the flavor of your olive oil, we'll do that too. Okay, about a tablespoon of olive oil.
Papa,
What's up, baby?
it'll help you.
Give me a second, okay? Can you stop? Babe, I'm in the middle of something, okay? We're at the finish line. Okay, so I just turned it off. It's gonna stay hot. The risotto's gonna stay hot. You don't have to worry about that. Okay? And then we'll add some pecorino. And I know this seems like a lot of cheese. It's actually not, just because of the microplane makes it look like a lot. Okay. Some pecorino. Some Parmesan. Okay. Okay, we'll save that. We'll put a little bit more on top, I think. Okay, you hear that? You hear that like slapping? That's when you know it's good. Okay, beautiful. All right, so this is what we're looking for. Okay, let's give it one last taste. I think go a little more pecorino.
Yeah, a little bit of my style too.
Mm-hmm.
No. You even forgot to move my chair for me. Up here.
Okay, beautiful. And I want to show you too, I'll bring it to the camera. Okay, this is it. Okay, you see the nice, you can see the rice, how you can see the individual kernels of rice still. That's what we're looking for, okay? And then when we plate it, I'll show you how we plate it. A little bit of a mess over here. That's part of cooking, yeah. You'll get more organized. The longer you cook, yeah. And like I said, nothing's a big deal, all right? You just put it right here. Okay, we got our plates here. All right, this is like a perfect plate for risotto. It's like a plate and bowl, kind of. Okay. You gotta make sure that you get everything. And then just kind of go right in the middle of the plate. Okay. Beautiful. And then you can kind of pat it down a little bit. Plate for Charlie. And any leftovers that you have, these are perfect if you want to add like an egg to it. When it's cold, add an egg to it, beat it up, maybe a little bit of breadcrumb, and you can just make arancini with them. Okay, beautiful. So here are 2 plates, Appa portion, Charlie portion. And we'll go a little bit more pecorino.
Ooh.
Right?
No, thank you. I do not.
You love pecorino, okay? A little more Parmesan. Okay.
Which one's mine?
The Charlie portion.
None of them.
Okay, and then for me, I'll put a little bit of black pepper in mine too. Okay?
No, she's this strong.
Mm-hmm. And a little olive oil. Okay?
I can't even break through it with my fingernails.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's it. Let me come show you. Beautiful, this is it. So we have a spring risotto, right? We have ramps, asparagus, squash, pecorino parmesan, and olive oil. Beautiful. Thank you guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed our video of making risotto from start to finish. Charlie, great job. Thank you so much. And now it's time for lunch. Make sure you click on the bottom and like and subscribe to this video. Thank you guys. See you next time.